Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by the Lines and Play Picks. Coming to you as always from Oakland, California, Josh Lander, joined by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Another great article on playpicks.com for you guys on a 6-game slate tonight that we're going to jump right into. Did want to congratulate Eric Fent for winning that gift card last night. He correctly guessed that the Pellies Jazz game would go to a total point score of 253. Started out slow with a 49-point first quarter, and then it erupted afterwards. So great call there. Hopefully y'all took the over as well as we told you to. And let's get right into some of those picks for tonight, Nate, on Tuesday night.
Yes, sir. 6-game slate with that Pistons-Raptors game postponed. First up, we have the Grizzlies -1 at the Wizards. Clippers -4 at the Celtics. Then we have the Hawks +3.5 at the Heat. Jimmy Butler questionable for that one. The Knicks down to +1 at Spurs, who are on the second leg of a back-to-back after losing in overtime. The Nuggets, also on a back-to-back, are +7 at Bucks. And then the Suns are +2 at the Lakers. And Josh, the first thing that jumped out at me is that Nuggets situation. They've been a bit predictable in terms of ups and downs, and they won last night, had a pretty good test in Chicago, and now going to Milwaukee, which is also a pretty trendy team in terms of they won 5, lost 5, won 5 in a row at home. We know how good they are at home. This is the 6th game on that homestand. Drew Holiday is back. He only played 17 minutes on Sunday. We'll see if he goes, a full go tonight. And I mean, they've only been getting better even with Drew just on the bench in street clothes. At home, they are the number 2 offensive team in terms of efficiency. They're number 1 in points per game. Overall, they're number 2 in effective field goal percentage. And the Nuggets struggle defensively this year, particularly on the road. They have the 8th worst field goal percentage allowed. You look at their back-to-back numbers, they score more, 119. They allow more points, 114. That's a trend that goes back to last year as well. I think they can score, but they can't stop Giannis as they didn't in their last 2 meetings. He got over 30. The Bucks dropped 125 in this last meeting. So I'm loving the overs all over the place here, particularly the Bucks over. I don't know if I trust the Nuggets to score, but the Bucks sitting at a 120 team total. I think they get over that. I think Giannis gets over 30 points, and on FanDuel you can get him to score 30 in a win at +116. Don't have to mess with the spread there. But yeah, love the overall over 235, which is hitting 4 of the Nuggets' last 5, and the Bucks totals there.
Yeah, I'm feeling the over. I also really do think I like the Bucks to defend their Denver on the second half of that back-to-back where they play all right, but they don't play any defense, even more so than normal for them. Without someone like Jeremy Grant on their team anymore, they really don't have any of those long, tall, athletic defenders to be able to guard Giannis.
And got to mention, Millsap and JaMychal Green are out, so they're even more shorthanded against Giannis.
Precisely. Michael Porter Jr. is a turnstile on defense, so I don't expect much from him there. I feel the Bucks heavily there as well. Another game I like, taking advantage of those struggling Hawks as you see Miami trending in the right direction. Jimmy Butler is questionable tonight. I think he might play. He missed Sunday's game against Atlanta where they won by 10 anyway. I think one of the reasons that they did win is the resurgence of Kendrick Nunn. If you look at Miami's, uptick in the last, they've won 6 straight, since they've gotten a lot healthier, and Kendrick Nunn has gotten a lot healthier since he, admitted that he was struggling with COVID at the beginning of the season. And even coming back from that was still, struggling from the repercussions of that. So, if you look at what he's done in their 6-game win streak, he's shooting 48.7% from 3, averaging 17 points, 5 assists, 4 boards. So he's looking really, really good. And when Jimmy doesn't play, Kendrick Nunn is someone who steps up in his absence historically in his career. He's got really good numbers when Jimmy doesn't play, also about 18, 4, and 5 when Jimmy's out for Kendrick Nunn. And really, this is a defensive team. They've been second best in net rating, 5th best in the defensive rating in that time span since, Jimmy's been back in the last 6. And so I think overall that really helps them. Atlanta, you continue to see them struggle. They just fired Lloyd Pierce, which was a little bit out of the blue, not handled super well. No Cam Reddish tonight, no Bogdanovich still, no Hunter still. Herter is likely not to play tonight as well. So they're awful on defense. They don't cover the spread in their last 4. They're 0-4 against that. And I don't see why I shouldn't like a really small spread with Miami. And I would like to see if Jimmy doesn't play, I'm going to pounce on some of those Kendrick Nunn player performance props as well.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA is all about playmaking, right? And the Hawks have one playmaker. Trey went for 50 against the Heat. On February 20th? 8 days later, they shut him down, holding to 15 on 3 for 14 shooting. This is basically the third game of the series there, and we know how good Eric Spoelstra is at making adjustments in playoff series. We just saw it. He's facing now Nate McMillan, who just inherited a pretty flawed and injury diminished roster, as you mentioned. So I mean, if they can limit Trey, and then they don't even need Jimmy Butler when they have Dragic, Hero, Kendrick Nunn, they can create on the other end. We didn't even mention Bam, who's lighting the world on fire as per usual. I mean, this is a Hawks team that's 27th in defensive rating and 27th in pace over their last 8. That plays right into Miami's hands. So yeah, love that. That's my most confident pick in the article today. Something I don't know how confident I am because these Lakers are very wonky this year. It's a LeBron James led team, so they are still tiny favorites against really the hottest team in the league right now, though. I think you got to like the Suns when you're getting plus money. They're 10-2 with the best net rating over their last 12. Devin Booker averaging 29 points on 53% field goal shooting in that span. He's, ramping it up a little bit after the All-Star snub. The Suns are 7-1 against winning teams in their last 8. They're 5-0 against the spread as road dogs. They're 6-2 overall as dogs. Chris Paul is a dog. We love him. He pushed the Lakers to the brink twice with the Thunder last season and then beat them in the bubble by 20. I mean, I don't know if you want to read too much into that result, but he scored 20 plus in 7 of his last 8 at Staples Center against the Lakers. You can get him at plus 440 to score 20 points in a Suns win tonight. I think, in a virtual toss-up, that's great odds, and I'm pouncing on that. The Lakers, still haven't proved much, with Schroeder. And the last thing, is they've lost 6 of their last 8 first halves at home. So you can get the Suns even money to be up at halftime, which, is a pretty predictable trend there.
Yeah, a lot to like in that Suns-Lakers game. I think we're able to take advantage of the fact that maybe the public doesn't really see the struggling Lakers in the same light that we see them when they don't have Anthony Davis. And when you look at the way the Suns team is playing, both on offense and defense, I love the point guard to be able to do what he does. And I'm happy to take the money line regardless tonight for that Suns game. So, another game, just a quick hit for you, Nate. I haven't talked enough this year about my New York Knicks, who are 4th in the Eastern Conference right now, crushing it. They're taking on a Spurs team who just played last night, went into overtime, still riddled with injuries with Derek White, Vassell, and Rudy Gay are all out. Keldon Johnson might play. He missed last night. As we mentioned, they went to OT against Brooklyn. And so expecting a little bit of tired legs against a Knicks team that's just going to beat you up as they continue to do on defense. The Spurs are horrible at rebounding right now, 29th in the league, which is something the Knicks do incredibly well. And then just, in terms of this particular matchup, the Knicks are great when they have the rest advantage. So, as we said, Spurs coming off the second leg of that back-to-back and that overtime game. Knicks are 7-2 against the spread when they do have the rest advantage. And then, lastly, the Spurs, as I mentioned, just not very good on against the spread, especially without those key players, 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. So feeling good about my Knicks plus 2.5 tonight. Might even grab that money line as they go to San Antonio.
Go ahead, rep your hometown team. And from a DFS angle, Nerlens Noel's played 80 minutes his last 2 with the Knicks. Pretty solid play there at power forward. I think the Spurs are going to have to play more Jakob Poeltl to match up there. So that's a play I'm liking. We mentioned Michael Porter Jr. He's going to get all the run he can handle with all those Nuggets wings out. Will Barton also decently cheap. Good play there. And the guys to pay up for, Giannis if you can manage it. And, Chris Paul, nice mid-tier play at point guard. Like him, like Ja Morant as well at the high-scoring Wizards.
Good stuff, Nate. We'll be playing some head-to-head tonight, I know. So stay tuned. Again, we'll be back tomorrow for you guys, and we'll be watching tonight. Make sure you like and subscribe to that video and jump in those comments. Let us know who you are betting on tonight and what you like. We'll be bringing more of that to you guys tomorrow. As for tonight, happy betting.